Good morning, everybody. So, welcome. This is day 66 of Compassionate Response to COVID-19. And today I've got my friend Hasavajra, who lives up in the hills near Hebden Bridge in Yorkshire. So we're going to be talking about his kind of path, his life as a family man, but also had a number of years in team-based in right livelihood business, and I think Hasavajra's I think he's a really kind of like open spirit, and loves the woods, loves doing whittling on sticks and sitting around campfires, and you've got very kind of. You and your partner May have got very liberal parents. I think just encouraged a really open attitude towards life. He's kind of part Dutch and
Half Dutch, yeah.
half Dutch. Yeah, Dad lives in Canada, and so I think we'll get a sort of sense of the kind of open spaces, openness or something in nature. So he lives on a farm in a valley that. Him and his partner have bought 19 acres near Hebden Bridge, and and he's in his caravan there. Get away from the family for this. Okay, so we'll begin by doing a normal bit of body work, and then come back and do some meditation. Then we'll get on to introducing Hasavajra. So I'm just going to move everything. So I'm just going to. Okay, so we normally do some body work before meditating, because if you just sit down to meditate without doing anything like that, often we've just got up and just there's all this kind of stodgy energy in our bodies, and we sit there and immediately we just feel stodgy. Our mind feels stodgy. Our kind of our emotions feel stodgy. So. We have to start working on the level that things are on. So we have to work on our body on that level. If we're going to do anything, we can't sort of do it from the mind. So we'll start by just squeezing your hands together. Give your hands a bit of a squeeze and squeezing up your arms. Just judging what you need. Do you need something a bit more vigorous? I think I do today. I think I need some waking up a little bit. So we'll just do some drumming on with your fingers on your top of your head. Open your chest. Take a few deeper breaths. Try and make the out breath a bit longer than the in breath. So that you're breathing out some of that stale air that's at the bottom of your lungs. And then just giving your face a little bit of a wash with your hands. Just going slowly. Just holding your hands over your face, and just breathing into the palms of your hands, and curving your spine over so that it's like you're turning a bit into a fetal position, of turning away from the world. Just having a sense that you can give yourself a break from interacting with the world, turning inward, curling up, and connecting with how you're feeling at the moment. Do you feel happy and bright and spacious, or do you feel a bit tired, a bit achy, a bit kind of reluctant to engage with the world? So whatever's going on for you, don't make any judgments about that as good or bad, because if we think that something's good or bad, we tend to want to push away or override or ignore what we think is bad, and rush towards the thing that we think are good, and in a way not deal with it, so deal with whatever's there. So in meditation we're turning towards things and finding a way of dealing with it creatively, rather than fretting about it or running away from it or fighting it. Okay, and then just put your elbow into the palm of your left hand, and giving your top of your shoulder and top of your spine a vigorous slap. So with this, this is really important that we sense what our body wants, because our mind will probably be thinking, "Oh, I'll just try and get past this bit, do as little as possible," and we don't actually do anything. So also being aware of if you have any injuries or anything, just being sensitive to what your body can do. But if your body can take a little bit of vigorous slapping, think about doing it. Other side. Think of my neighbours here, they know I'm doing this and they hear this every day. It's the 66th day that they've heard me doing this. Great. Okay, and then going down the outside of your arm and onto the back of your hand, and maybe make it a little bit painful, because it shows that we're getting through to something, getting through to some other underlying tension if it's painful. Because when we get pain, often if it's just muscular tension, it'll be saying, "No, leave me alone, I don't want to be touched." But it's like trying to break through that a little bit, wake it up, and then it can start relaxing. Then palms of your hands. And then up the inside of your arm. And then the other arm. Back of your hand. Again, try to get through to the holding on that's going on there, tensing that's going on. Break through to it a little bit. Honestly, I think one of the things that can help reduce tension is when we meet it with something solid, So it kind of knows. Often anxiety is there because things are hovering in mid-air with uncertainty. But if you do something that's a bit more definite, a bit more tangible, on some level the body can relax, I think. Just like when it meets the ground, it can let go towards the ground. And then palms of your hands. And then on your chest. Try and make it a bit vigorous down the sides of your body. And then just doing slow circles on your stomach. And just lightly drumming on your kidneys at the back. And then more heavily on the buttocks. And then down your legs, as far as you can go. Shake everything out. Okay, so hopefully we've woken the body up a little bit with doing that, stimulating part of the body work. So now we're going to smooth the energy out by doing a little bit of Qigong. So just putting your hands on your stomach. And waiting for your breathing to calm down a little bit. And then when you notice that you're breathing out, bend your knees. And then when you're breathing in, straighten your knees. So you're going down on the out breath. And taking your whole body down in one piece, and then coming up on the in-breath, and then down on the out-breath. And just check to see if you're actually moving, because sometimes I do this exercise and people are just standing there not moving at all. If you're not moving, you're probably a little bit stuck in your head, in ideas and thoughts and worries and things. So just put your thoughts to one side. Maybe on the other side of the room for now. While you're doing this, you're just saying, I'm going to do this for now, and it's just a physical thing. So I'm just going to bend my knees as I breathe out, and it's not going to be perfection. I'm going to do it in a rough sort of way. Bend my knees when I breathe out, straighten my knees when I breathe in. Going down on the out breath, coming up on the in breath. Now put your hands out the front, so when you're coming up this time, just bringing your hands up to your chin and then turning at the chin and take them down on the out breath, turning at the hips and bringing them up on the in breath and then turning at the chin down on the out breath. And just keep coming up and then down. Maybe imagine a ball of energy coming up through the middle of your body, like golden energy coming up and down. Up your spine, and then down again. And then next time just keep going past your chin, and then the ball expands outwards and your chest opens and your arms come down the sides. and then again, ball comes up the middle, and then expands outwards at the top, and the arms come down sides, and then one last one. This time, just really open up your chest. Do it slowly. And now just stand for a minute or so, just experiencing yourself standing, experiencing the energy in your body. And then moving over to your meditation place. So this morning we're going to do what I call a grounding meditation. So it's just a bit like a body scan. It's like being aware of our situation. You know, the fact that we're a human being and exist in time and space and have a body. So I'm just going to take us through all of that in a systematic way. Because as I was saying, you know, often the body needs reassurance that there's something solid there. So when we kind of know what's happening, then we know what our situation is. Then it's possible to relax into that situation. So being aware of, starting off, just be aware of the contact of your body with the chair and the ground, or the meditation cushions. And just allowing your body to just sit there. So we're not trying to hold our body up through an active will. It's more that we let our body do what it does, which it knows how to sit down. It doesn't need any help from our mind to do that. So now we're just going to look at our situation, what that situation is. So the first thing to look at is the fact that we're alive. You know, it's the case that we're alive, we're a human being, and we exist in time and space. So first, being aware of the dimension of time. So just having a sense of all the moments of time that you've experienced in the past. So when we're trying to do things in meditation, it often or bring something into awareness. It often takes time. So just being patient, waiting for it to dawn on you that you do exist in time, that you've had a past with all the moments that you've experienced in the past. It's also the case that you hopefully have a future. So being aware of all the moments that you will experience in the future. Again, just being patient, just waiting to arrive into the future, awareness of the future. And it's also the case that you exist in a particular moment in time, which is the present moment. So again, just waiting for it to dawn on you that this is the case, that here you are, living in the present moment. This is where your experience is actually happening. So as well as existing in time, it's also the case that we exist in space. So we're sitting on a huge great ball of matter called the Earth. And above our head is the atmosphere, the Earth's atmosphere, which is about 10 miles deep. It's not very deep at all. And then out beyond the Earth's atmosphere is vast empty space, where every now and then there might be an object like a star or a galaxy or a planet, but it's really not very often at all. It takes light 1.5 seconds to reach the moon, 8 minutes to reach the sun, and 25 years to reach the nearest star. So I might think that life is pretty precious and rare in the universe. And on the Earth are oceans and ice caps and forests, deserts and farmland, cities. And you are in a particular place on the Earth. So again, just being patient, just waiting for it to dawn on you where you are. on the earth, just arriving into that place. So again, just giving it time, giving it time. So as well as existing in time and space, what else can we say is the case? Well, it's the case that we have a body, which is a physical object in the physical world. And that body has a particular structure to it. So it's got bones to support the body's weight, muscles to move the body about, and organs to keep the body alive in various ways. So tuning into the reality, of the actual structure of your body, your particular body. Trying to see where the bones are, where the muscles are, where the organs are. And reflecting that the body knows how to sit down, it doesn't need any help from the mind to do that, or the emotions. So try to have a sense that the mind and emotions don't need to be involved with the body. It will just sit there on its own. And all you need to do is to just look at the angle that your spine's making with the seat, and try to align it so that the weight is going down through your skeleton into the chair and into the floor. And if the weight of the body is going down directly through the skeleton into the ground, into the chair, and it isn't leaning over, then the muscles of the body can feel confident that they can let go. So just reflecting that relaxation is a physical act. It's a bit like unfurling a fist. Just having a sense of unfurling any tension through the body. And imagine it's just falling away from the body down towards the ground. But you'll only be able to do that to the extent that your body's balanced. And it is the skeleton taking the weight. If you're leaning over slightly, you'll be wanting to hold on that side. And then your mind and emotions will be getting involved with it. So just having a sense that your mind and emotions don't need to be involved with looking after your body. In fact, it's the other way around, that your body is looking after them. So it's giving them a solid base from which they can gain a sense of calm and reassurance. That the body is able to support the mind and emotions to be in whatever state that they're in. So now just to take the relaxation a little bit deeper, just imagining or remembering a time when maybe you might have felt a little bit upset and a friend just came and put their hand on your shoulder, and the touch of your friend's hand just made you feel supported, made you feel comforted, reassured. And just pick a point in the middle of your body, somewhere in your chest maybe. Just imagine that the touch of all the points around that point is like that hand, bringing a sense of reassurance to that point in your body. And then imagine that that process is happening throughout the whole of your body. Every point in your body is gaining a sense of reassurance from the touch of all the points around it. So really taking your time to come out of that meditation. I think you might be muted, Hasavajra.
Hello.
Great, great. Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah. So, rock and roll.
Yeah.
So where should we start then? Do you want to start talking about your early involvement with Tree Ratner, where you started out?
Okay. Um,
Oh, you don't have to. Talk about whatever you like.
yeah, no, I'm just coming out of that meditation.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, yeah. So I got involved in Tree Ratner when I was 20, so 26 years ago now, in Sheffield. I was a kind of student. And I saw a sign of advertising the meditation class. It was a picture of Tintin in Tibet meditating, and at that time I was just kind of really searching for something,
Yeah.
searching for some meaning in my life. I'd started doing a bit of yoga from a book, and it mentioned something about meditation in there, and I thought, well, yoga, obviously you don't need a teacher, you could just do that from a book, but meditation, you probably need a teacher. So I saw this poster and went along, and Amoghavangsa and Smriti Ratner were
Yeah.
leading classes.
I just realised I got a picture of Mogavac, so I could show it.
Like, this is your life.
Well, it's actually a drawing I did.
Oh, lovely. That's wonderful. Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so, yeah. So, Mogavangsa and Smriti Ratner I found very inspiring. It's very friendly and really kind of embodying spirit, something different, really. And I really meditating and really enjoyed that, and found it really sort of transformational. I found it had a real impact on my mind. So I was a bit hooked. Probably a little bit evangelical, perhaps, in the early days. I think, I found it really transformational. I thought everybody else probably it would be too. So probably slightly annoying, maybe at the time. Maybe just enthusiastic.
Young, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I finished university. So I was going along to classes, and I started helping out a little bit there.
What were you doing at university?
Sorry?
What do you do at university?
yeah, I was studying environmental science.
Yeah. Okay.
I was really passionate about the environment and saving the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I sort of, I got kind of hooked onto Buddhism really, and I sort of felt like that was, you know, I don't know, that just really sort of inspired me. What I kind of started losing interest in my course, partly because it wasn't that I didn't care about the environment, that kind of was so strong, but I just, um, I don't know, just got bored of it, maybe a bit bored of science or something like that. And I got more and more interested in Buddhism. So by the time I finished university, I was keen to work in an evolution shop that we were setting up in Sheffield to raise money for the centre. Um,
So so the evolution shops were a way of getting people to work together. So one of the central teachings of the Buddha is something called right livelihood, where it's called samajiva. It means right life. Really, it's a bit like making your life as centrally Buddhist as you can. So people would live together in communities and work together and try and raise money for the centre, run Buddhist centres and all that sort of things. A lot of idealism around, wasn't there?
yeah,
So
it
you've
was
been in that
quite.
quite a bit, haven't you? In communities and right livelihood businesses and stuff.
Yeah, so it was very exciting. Uh, it sort of felt like I could live a more sort of fully Buddhist life. You know, working with other Buddhists. It wasn't just seeing them on a Wednesday evening or whatever at the centre. Kind of opportunity to kind of really live the path with other people. Um, to be honest, the main thing was I just really enjoyed hanging out with this bunch of people, and I guess that's kind of that was really motivating. I was with people that were also meditating and idealistic, um, and yeah, that was inspiring, really. Um, So yeah, it had its challenges because initially I was on the dole. I was waiting for Christmas Evolution Shop to happen, and then we did that, and it was raised lots of money for the Buddhist Centre. It was very inspiring, and then I was on the dole again. So was quite a lot of waiting as well, and that was quite challenging because I felt really inspired by
Mm.
the project, but trying to get the conditions right was challenging. Um, yeah, and then so I worked in the evolution shop in Sheffield for a while, and then we decided at that time that it was going to become a women's shop. So quite often, right livelihoods were divided into men's and women's side of things, which seems a bit, yeah, we could do so much of that these days. Um, so I decided to move to Manchester, which had a kind of brand new centre that was in 1997,
Mm.
and there was kind of talk of lots of right livelihood businesses being set up. So I, yeah, including a cafe. So I moved into a Buddhist community there. So
Mm.
there was 10 of us living in greenhouse in Longside, and actually we were all doing different kinds of things. So it was really interesting house, especially at dinner time. Be lots of different things happening, and anyway, I was really keen to get this cafe going, Earth Cafe. Any
Yeah.
more questions?
Yeah. So, what year were you ordained? Two. 2000,
2004.
2004, yeah, yeah. Well, on my ordination retreat, which takes place in Spain, Spain for 4 months, on the men's side, people, spend 4 months on retreat in Spain. And there was somebody on that retreat who's called Vimla Bandhu, and he gave this talk called "The Jewel in the Cabbage," and that was like the beginning, I think, of him forming this idea that of setting up like a vegan restaurant, organic vegan, fair trade, you name it, everything, Buddhist, right livelihood restaurant. So I'll just explain what the jewel in the cabbage means. So basically, in Buddhism, you have a figure called Avalokiteshvara. So Avalokiteshvara is like the embodiment of compassion. So sometimes the Dalai Lama is thought of as an embodiment of Avalokiteshvara. And the symbol is the jewel in the lotus. So it's a bit like there's a lotus flower, and in it is a jewel, and then the idea is that it will if you put things in the right conditions, it will slowly open and reveal the jewel inside. So people will develop through, if you put them in the right, if they meditate, if they practice ethics, they will develop and become, the treasures of life in a way will be revealed. So Vimla Bandhu ended up writing this book called "The Jewel in the Cabbage," subtitle "Cooking with Metaphors," and so Dogen is one of the really famous Zen masters in Buddhism, and he put a lot of emphasis on the he made it, like the cook was really important in the monastery, and there's all sorts of ideas, metaphors really, that Vimla Bandhu brought in that were to do with Dogen's ideas, which is things like, well, you don't throw things away, you don't just kind of, and there's a real relevance here to like environmental issues, it's like you kind of use what you can of what there is, so you don't go, oh, that's a horrible looking cabbage leaf, I'm going to chuck it, you try and salvage what's good in even the things that don't look so good. So Vimla Bandhu would sort of talk about, using the ingredients that you had with you, not sort of thinking, oh, I can only cook unless I've got the best ingredients. You use what you had, but you did it. You did your cooking in the way which just maximised using what you had, with the skill that you had and all that. So his philosophy was very much about that, like dealing with imperfections and trying to make the best of it. Do you want to say?
That sounds a bit like COVID cookery.
Like what?
COVID cooking.
What's that?
Well, this time, people aren't going out to the shop so much, so they're using their leftovers.
Yeah. 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 So here's a picture of Vimla Bandhu. There's an article in Manchester Evening News. So you joined the cafe at the beginning, did you? I can't remember.
Yeah, so I was involved kind of before it started. So
were you ordained then?
No.
Okay.
It was before I was ordained. So we
Yeah.
set up the cafe in 1999.
Yeah. The
So
centre opened in '96. The new Buddhist centre. Yeah.
So I was doing building work on the actual cafe basement. It was a kind of basement, a
Yeah.
kind of dingy looking basement,
Yeah.
and we were trying to imagine like how we would get 100 people to walk down the stairs into a dingy basement. But we transformed it into a really beautiful place. Moksha Priya was involved in the design, and obviously he's got a very good eye. So I was there right from the beginning, and our small team, and it was kind of um, we kind of hit the ground running. It was kind of more successful than we were expecting.
Yeah.
Um, so that was quite exciting. Um, yeah, I just remember one day when we ran out of food, and the people working on the counter were saying, "We need more food," and then I was in the kitchen and like, "Oh, we haven't got any more food." And then we realised that we just had run out of food, and I guess we were quite anxious at that time to make it a success. You know, we'd taken a loan out and all the rest of it, and that really sticks in my mind because it was like, oh, actually, you know, we've run out of food, but it's okay. Like the world hasn't kind of fallen apart or anything like that. Just cook some more, you know, it'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the cafe ran on sort of various principles. So this is a document from that time, and it's called the Four Corners of Earth. So the principles, there were four principles behind the cafe. It was vegan. So you know, the Buddhist idea of practicing non-harm towards all living beings. So no harm caused through the dairy industry. Organic. 10 good reasons to go organic, listed by the Soil Association. So this is all in the early 2000s, isn't it? It was right livelihood. So it's like Buddhist practicing together, trying to use it as a place to be ethical and to support each other and to look out for each other and to meditate together. So often there would be a checking in at the beginning of the day, how we all doing, and you know, trying to have like mindfulness kind of breaks through the day, or you know, bring that side of things in.
Work in silence in the morning.
Work in silence in the morning, yeah. Sort of trying to be mindful of your bodily movements and all that sort of stuff. And also it was fair trade, so it's like as best the cafe could. It was like trying to you know, to source things that were fair trade. Yeah, and it was and that really attracted people. The idealism, I think, really was attractive to people. And
and also, I've just mentioned that the food was really delicious.
yeah,
Vimla Bandhu is a fantastic cook. So part of our vision was that vegan food doesn't have to be boring, or we wouldn't really advertise the vegan side of things too strongly.
yeah,
People thought veganism was a bit weird. But we get vegans coming in and ask, you know, what can I eat here? And we'd say, oh, you can eat everything. And they'd be a bit like, really? How about that quiche? You know, that's a quiche. I can't eat. Oh no, it's a tofu quiche. Or there'd be a cake. Oh yeah, you know, you can eat all the cake. You know, and then it would just dawn on them that at that time, oh, I can eat everything.
yeah,
Of course, now it's not so. It's a lot more common.
yeah,
But we're really kind of one of the pioneers, I think, around vegan food.
yeah.
So,
Well, there were
feel
some,
really proud of that.
yeah, there'd be some like well-known vegan rock stars would come in, weren't there? Like Johnny Marr would come in,
Oh yeah,
and
we had Moby, didn't we?
well, Murphy, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and somebody said to me like, you know, oh, we got Moby out the front. I went out the front, and went, which one's Moby? I had no idea. Yeah, yeah. So
But Moby was very keen on us. He didn't want to meet anywhere else
Yeah.
when he was in Manchester.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So how did it happen that you got ordained from? Did you get ordained from the cafe or?
Yeah. Well, at one point I got ill. I think I kind of overworked, and I got a virus and had sort of post-viral fatigue. So I was kind of a bit knocked out for a year,
Hmm.
and that kind of I stopped working in the cafe. Um, and then after that period, I kind of went back to the cafe for a brief period. Um, and then then I was ordained.
Mm.
So it was that was also quite a challenging time, but I guess kind of my whole identity was around being fit and healthy and active
Mm.
in a sort of Buddhist business. So that really made me have to question,
Yeah.
um, who am I? Am I Buddhist if I can't work? Am I Buddhist if um, you know uh, I'm not in that context? So it really challenged me, but I felt like I really grew up in a particular way then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
I kind of
I think
um,
it's quite good.
yeah. I moved from London to Manchester in '95, and joined in the building project and things, and I had a meltdown, after 9 months of working
Mm,
on the projects and stuff, and then I got ordained like 2 years later. So I think sometimes there's a process whereby um, we need more self knowledge or something, like
mm,
it's not just about idealism and things, but it's almost like we need to just kind of get to the point where we're kind of giving up on trying to do it all ourselves, and
yeah,
and then that is the place where we start to be honest about who we are and all that and what we can and cannot do, and then that know thyself sort of thing, that seems to be the thing that then allows us to start cooperating with people in a kind of realistic way, rather than thinking, oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just thought chuck that in. That yeah, yeah, yeah. So do you want to say a bit about your colleagues and
oh yeah.
you got ordained with?
So there was a gang of us from Manchester. And there's Arta Katie on the left there, and there's me with very short hair there. Manjunaga, looking like a yogi, Pravasvara, and Hasavajra. So yeah, there was kind of big gang of us from Manchester. I you know, I kind of loved being on that retreat. Um, I was really ready for it. I'd done a lot of practice, a lot of integration. So for me, I really enjoyed spending 4 months in the mountains. I also love being out in nature. Um, so I guess that was also fantastic for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then what happened after that? After you got ordained. I mean, often we're encouraged to not make immediate decisions about what we do, but to just give it a bit of space. But what might emerge. So what happened for you?
yeah, so it was a bit of a rocky landing in some ways, because I ended up splitting up with my girlfriend at that time, or her splitting up with me. Um, so that time she wanted to have kids, and I wasn't sure, and it was a bit of a crunch point in the relationship.
Yeah.
Um, so that was quite painful, really, and I was kind of on this kind of real high coming off this long retreat.
Mm.
Um, then yeah, it was quite a challenging landing, you could say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I ended up working back at a cafe, partly to I felt like I needed a grounded situation.
Yeah.
So that was really good actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To go back to that.
Yeah. Was that what years was that then?
So that was 2004, 2005.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I worked there 2001 to three or something like that. Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah. We worked together, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
You were doing the cooking at a certain point.
I was mainly in the kitchen, sort of cooking, managing the kitchen. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
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 So what was I going to say? Um, yeah, I think though I kind of realised that I wanted to change of scenery.
Mm.
Um, Felt like I wanted to do something different at that point.
Mm.
I was I'd had 10 years of kind of working in team-based right livelihoods, living in communities, and I felt like I needed to I wanted to um, kind of expand somehow, and I felt like I needed to change.
Mm.
So I guess the big thing was I kind of decided that I wanted to work with people on a more one-to-one basis, helping people.
Mm.
So and I had several friends actually that were physiotherapists. So that's what I did. I decided to go back to university and become a physio. So that's kind of the next chapter really.
Mm.
After that.
Yeah. 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 And what happened after that?
So so I went back to university, and then I also met somebody else. She got pregnant, so I became a dad. So that was quite a big transition, really. So before then, I'd been living in communities, mainly with other men.
Mm.
So that was an interesting transition to kind of go from a kind of semi-monastic situation to you could say to a kind
Mm.
of nuclear family.
Yeah. 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 So I'll just explain that in Sri Ratna, well, it used to be called Friends of the Western Buddhist Order years ago, or the Western Buddhist Order. What we're seen as neither monks nor lay people. So it's something. So that thing you've got around your neck's called a kesa, and it's kind of almost like a kind of so the equivalent of a kind of robe in a way that people wear on when they're doing classes and things. But it's like there's the phrase uh, um, commitments primary, lifestyle secondary, though not unimportant. So it's like order members might work in Buddhist centres, running Buddhist centres or retreat centres. They might be solitary artists, or they might have jobs in the world. They might have families. But what brings them together is this is their ordination, and the fact that they're seen as effectively going for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So it's like that how we express our Buddhism will vary, and some people take a path of meditation and solitude, and some they'll take a path of responsibility in the world. So there are a number of order members holding quite key responsible positions, being Buddhist chaplains, working in healthcare, psychology. So it's like you kind of have moved, and you're now kind of expressing a lot of your energy in your physiotherapy work. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I could say a bit more about that.
yeah,
Yeah, I felt really privileged to become a physiotherapist. I feel really proud of what we do. I mean, like in my work, I'm helping people all day, which is kind of a great thing if you're a Buddhist. 'Cause you can just practice metta, you can practice kindness, you can practice mindfulness, um, just generosity. It's a very sort of wholesome, positive thing to do. I guess I really see my work as a really important part of my practice. And I think also whatever work you do, you can practice ethics, you can practice kindness. Um, it's I guess I sort of feel very lucky. Um, you know, being a physio, I'm doing a job that I really enjoy. Um, I enjoyed working in a cafe. It's quite a different context, but I've also, sort of felt more, more like a vocation. What I've been to.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's and obviously it's helped me kind of support my family, and that's really important.
Mm.
Um, to me now. Um,
Yeah.
so just to be quite steady and do what needs to be done. Really, I think that's a big part of being a dad. Um, I've got three kids. Yeah, and just kind of being there, being responsible, doing what needs to be done, and sometimes there's resistance to that, um, and yeah, just trying to sort of overcome that and trying to enjoy the
Mm.
process of
Yeah.
life, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So your relationship with your first, you know, the mother of your first child didn't quite work out, and
No, that didn't quite work out. So yes, so I've got two children with my ex. Um, so yeah, it's that relationship didn't work out. So we split up. I think when my daughter was about 5 and my son was about 2. Um, in some ways, it was quite reasonably amicable. We decided not to be nasty to each other. Um, Obviously, it's painful, but yeah, we've made a kind of real effort to be kind to each other and supportive. Um, so at that time, yeah, I moved out and got my own place. And then about 6 months later, a year later, I started another relationship with May, and we got married about 3 years ago. So she's also got a daughter. So between us, we've got 3 kids. Um, and yeah, actually, the kids were really keen that we got married. Interestingly, um, and it's something that I wasn't that enthusiastic about. Not that I don't um, love May, I do, and I'm really glad to be with her. But it's as a kind of institution, you know, not something that I've particularly valued. Um, anyway, we're in a very sort of happy relationship. I feel very lucky again to be with somebody that I get on really well with, and she's also um, into Buddhism as well.
mm.
So that's nice that we can share that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So you were living in Manchester, in
Yeah.
was it in two houses? Oh,
So I actually I moved to Hebden Bridge with my ex. That was when the kids were really little, because Zeph was still a baby, and then not long after that we split up. Then I started going out with May, who was living in Manchester. So we knew her from that time. And then I started kind of moving. Well, her daughter was in Manchester, so I was spending some time in Manchester,
mm.
some time in Hebden Bridge. Anyway, eventually May sold the house in Manchester, and we found like where we live at the minute, which is like a house and barn in 19 acres of woodland
Mm.
up in the hills. So which is kind of, we absolutely fell in love with the place. It's a really beautiful spot, and it's right in the woods. We've got waterfalls and streams right next to the house,
Mm.
near the house. Um, so yeah, that's been my kind of project for the last few years. Trying to get the money together for it, trying to kind of moving here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that you've been involved in something called, so that something started up in the 1990s called Butterfield down in the southwest, and like a festival, a Buddhist festival, really, to kind of help to connect with people who are maybe a bit alternative and that sort of thing, or kind of in the festival scene. And there was an offshoot of that called Butterfield North. So, people that went to Butterfield started something called Butterfield North. So it's like doing kind of retreats and outdoors under canvas. So you've been quite involved in that, haven't you, in Butterfield North?
Yeah. Particularly, like for me, it's been a great contact with kids. It's a really lovely bunch of people involved with the field. So there's a real community of lovely people, most of whom have got kids. But not everybody. You don't have to have kids to be involved. But we do a big kind of family-friendly retreat in the summer. For me, I guess.
Here's a picture of the.
Ah, lovely. Yeah, there it is. So you can see we've got lots of tents there, like nice marquee. There's a big meditation marquee. There's another kind of medieval tent in the middle. We have a fire circle there.
Yeah.
So for me, it ticks all the boxes, really.
Yeah.
Great place for the kids. It's a great place to be with other Buddhists and practice. There you go. Be kind.
Be
That's
kind.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get to spend like a whole week outdoors as well, which I love. There's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's our meditation tent. I think will be the kids' tent.
Yeah.
But that's where we have kids' activities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my partner May and I are very much involved in some of the kids' activities. So I'm really into kind of whittling. So we do kind of like whittling activities and bushcraft activities.
Sitting around the fire.
Lots of fires, yeah. So we kind of like around the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it was something I really enjoy sitting around, and you kind of cooking on, open fire. Like all the food done on open fire and stuff. I just find that there's something about being outdoors that everything has to just slow down, doesn't it? Because you're dealing with, you can't, you don't switch a switch on and the gas comes on. You have to sort of make sure that your wood's dry. Like.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like at Butterfield retreats, you light fire in the morning. Somebody keeps the embers going overnight and all that sort of stuff. But you can get such magical things, like just sitting around the campfire until, beyond midnight and just chatting and,
Yeah, staring at the embers.
Staring at the embers, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something about spending time outdoors which kind of makes me feel more relaxed, kind of more free.
Yeah.
So I think that works for me.
Yeah.
And other people as well.
Yeah,
it can be challenging as well,
Yeah.
But it's kind of really real, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're out in the elements.
Yeah. So we had a weekend, didn't we? An order weekend where we're just kind of camping on your land, up at the top there. and yeah,
Yeah, no, that was lovely. Yeah, we had a really, it was really kind of, everyone had like small tents and,
yeah. That's the view,
um,
from the over the hills. Yeah,
yeah, no, it's beautiful. But I feel very lucky, where we live. It's a very beautiful spot and
one of your books,
lovely to do things.
climate change,
Climate change.
with all the books, all the taxis all underwater in New York.
That's right. So, so well, it's been really interesting, like living here, being closer to nature in many ways. One thing that we've a problem with where we live is we rely on spring water, and for the last few years we've run out of spring water, like in May, so quite early on in the summer, and that's made us really aware of how dry our summers are. So it's been a real kind of real wake up call really to what's kind of happening in the world really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, so it's kind of is impacting us. We've got a pump. We pump water up from the river, so we're doing okay. But we just, I guess, it's made me really kind of aware of what's going on in the world.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember staying at your house when you first. Well, helped you move, didn't I? Help you move some of the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Bring all your two houses worth of stuff into one,
yeah. That's right.
and it was so peaceful. It was so like really big, thick stone walls, uh, and yeah, you can't.
Pretty solid.
Very solid, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah,
Uh, so in this the last few months, I've been off work on furlough.
yeah,
So spending a lot of time. Well, we've done quite a lot of work on the house. So we moved our kitchen from one room to another. Also done a lot of gardening. I've built a polytunnel, and they made a pond with a shrine. So that's also been really,
polytunnel.
really nice thing to do. Polytunnels. Well, yeah,
With all your tools in it, that one.
that's right. Yeah, I've put another polytunnel as well.
Yeah,
Anyway, um, so yeah, been kept busy.
yeah. And how's it been, sort of being at work? Because you were saying how much you connected with people and that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really love my work. Um, I think initially I was kind of ready for a break. I hadn't had a break for about 6 months, so I was just really happy to be in the garden, relax, spend time with the kids. Um, and then kind of more lately, I'm really kind of noticing that I'm missing that side of things.
Mm.
Meeting my colleagues at work. I work the practice where I work. It's very nice, and yeah, kind of like wanting to be there for my patients there. But, and I guess I can't see it, but I know that there's going to be people who are suffering and would benefit from what I do,
Mm.
and I'm not able to do it. What I do a lot of massage, a lot of hands-on uh, mobilization, that kind of thing.
Mm.
So it's trying to imagine doing that at this time. It's very hard.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
so it also feels very uncertain, really.
yeah, yeah,
What's going
yeah,
to happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you got any kind of reflections about the whole COVID-19 thing and the future?
Yeah, well, I guess in some ways I sort of feel to me it's like a kind of a wake up call about how we're kind of living in the world, and what we're doing with the planet. uh, obviously, there's a lot of changes. That just the nature of the global transport system that's kind of like spread this virus. Um, yeah, it's I think there's maybe possibly a big crisis coming around climate change, and I think this is just the beginning of that. So um, I'm concerned about things like food security. Also, the more challenges that people face, that's going to put more strain on people's relationship and how people relate.
Yeah.
So I sort of feel like actually Buddhism's really nearly more important now than ever.
Yeah.
Focusing on non-violence, communication, compassion, kindness. This is something that we need, and we're going to need more than ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Times to come.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we met. We had a gathering of order members at your place. Like, was it last year? And
Yeah.
um, and there's something about the way that order members interact and sort of support each other. That could you say a bit about that? About your kind of like relationship with other order members and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in a chapter, so I guess for me that's also really important.
It's like a weekly meeting sort of thing for a
Yeah,
couple of
so
hours.
it's
Yeah.
a weekly meeting.
Yeah.
Um, so it has been for me in Manchester, but obviously at the moment we're doing it on a Zoom call. But that's been really important for me. The ways of connecting with my sort of Buddhist friend.
Mm.
And one of the focuses of that chapter is our ethical practice. So, and that's really useful. It's a context that we can talk about our ethics. And I'm a dad. Sometimes I'll leave my rag with the kids and things like that. It's actually I don't want to do that. So I don't want to be that person particularly. So so I might talk about some of those issues or the difficulties in that context. But also, it's a way of inspiring each other. We talk about positive things that we're doing in our lives as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been really important, really.
Yeah. I remember we were talking just before this. We were saying you're saying about the whole thing of like keep turning towards, when problems arise. I've got a sense that you've kept turning towards
Yeah,
and facing whatever the thing is. Sometimes things haven't quite worked out, but like you've not like run away from the situation. You've kept going, but you've made choices about, maybe that hasn't worked, and maybe it needs to be different or something like that. So I'm just sort of thinking about in relation to people today, and with the COVID and all the uncertainty, that there's something about like keeping going, being responsible, remembering what's important. So I think with the George Floyd thing, it's almost like it's gone out the window. The fact that people have to do safe distancing. They're all gathering in large numbers together and potentially all infecting each other. As they're getting kind of intoxicated by the cause or whatever. So I think there's something about being grounded in the reality of like, hang on a minute, I might want to protest, but
yeah,
I might have the virus and I might be giving it to hundreds of people, and
yeah,
then they're going to give it to their relatives who are supposed to be shielded or whatever, and they're going to die, So there's something about that keeping remembering, like what the actual situation is, what the ethical situation is, and not kind of going off on one.
yeah. I think I think it's a sort of complex issue. I mean, I think sitting with the discomfort sometimes, that's something that we have to do, like when we like meditate,
Yeah,
Um, so I guess
yeah, the
I've
complexity
had
of
lots
things.
of
Yeah,
changes and challenges,
yeah,
and I think it's good to remember that it's not just about getting blissed out. You sometimes sitting with difficult emotions. So for me, part of whole like kind of re-engaging with the whole climate change debate. For example, I felt it painful because I've been pushing it away subtly. Yeah, I hadn't really been sort of facing that reality. Actually, kind of trying to kind of sit with it, sit with you could say the grief of that.
mm,
You know, I think also some try not to be judgmental. That's I'm really aware with this sort of Black Lives Matters. You mentioned about that side of things, but it's also being really aware that there's huge inequalities at the moment.
mm,
There's some people who are really sort of protected. Like myself, I live out in the country. I'm furloughed, and
mm,
then there's other people who aren't. They're going out there,
mm,
working in hospitals.
mm,
They've got much more exposure,
mm.
and also it's different conditions. So you know, a lot of ethnic minority communities like in London, they're living in a city, in apartments, and they've been stuck in there for months.
Yeah,
And I'd be sort of, I think
yeah,
I'd be going
yeah,
nuts
yeah,
if
yeah,
that was
yeah,
my context.
yeah,
So it's good to kind of really remember what's going on, and then also that a lot more of their relatives are dying.
yeah,
There's much higher.
yeah,
I
yeah,
saw something of somebody talking about a street in Newham, and they're like, you know, three people on the street next door have died.
right,
And that, so
yeah,
it's really impacting people
yeah, I know,
a lot more.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'm kind of aware of that. We things arise in conditions, and that's part of the conditions of what's going on.
yeah, yeah. And it's really hard, isn't it? It's almost impossible to just ignore your conditioning. So if your conditioning is to hang around with your mates, you can do that for a while, and then you don't want to. You can not do that for a while, and then you just want to go back to hanging out with your mates because it's expressing something. So yeah.
Yeah, and we've all got a real deep need for connection and community, don't we?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I know for some people, not being able to touch other people. I mean, that's quite a particular thing, isn't it?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Not being able to hug, not being able to, part of my work, I'm doing a lot of massage, a lot of touch, and it's it has an effect. Sort of touch, but it helps people connect. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So it's always keep coming back to the bigger perspective, which is that it is complicated. Life is complicated, basically, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
And you know,
we
in a
can't
way,
solve
there aren't any simple answers and solutions, and
it.
you just got to do your best in each moment, haven't you, to be
And
aware, you know.
yeah, I mean, like this week, for example, I felt a little bit low. You know, I felt nearly a bit like, what's the point? I'm in gardening and this and that, and why bother?
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's been good to connect with you because it's kind of helped me kind of
I'm
with my
dragging other members out of their solitude.
yeah. So it's kind of made me remember. Oh, there's a kind of bigger world out there.
Yeah,
I'm not just in
exactly.
my little bubble. Um, so it's really helpful, and actually, how we act has an effect on the world.
Yeah,
What we do.
yeah,
Um, I've been trying to plant trees, and trying to grow my own food, and trying to be kind to my kids. Trying to help them with their kind of home projects or things like that.
yeah,
Sometimes I don't want to. I just want to get on and do my thing. But just trying to be a bit more generous. That's really important. That's all I can do at the
yeah,
moment. I can try and
yeah,
practice. I can meditate. And
yeah,
just kind of valuing that really.
yeah,
I think even for my own sanity as much as anything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I often am having to drag myself back from just wanting to have a lie down, or you know, like yesterday I was on retreat this week with Paramanda, and I really wasn't keen on doing the meditation, but I thought, no, go do it, because I had quite a lot of pain in my neck, you know. I thought, no, do it, go do it. So I did it, and I was in a group with people, and at the end I felt much better, and I was actually started doing things. So we're all constantly facing that, isn't it? You know, like keep bringing ourselves back to life. You know, like what's life again? You know, remembering what's life, and the fact that we matter. You know, our lives matter, and you know, it's easy to think, isn't it? Oh, it doesn't matter. You know, or I can't have an effect. You know, somebody said this amazing phrase. Uh, don't let the little you can do get in the way of the little that you can do. So it's like, in a way, we are a bit. There is little we can do, you know, but it doesn't mean we can't do. There's nothing we can do, you know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
There's been some lovely, just little, bits of artwork and stuff, the rainbows and all that stuff. It kind of makes a difference, doesn't it? It makes people feel connected and feel part of something bigger.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess my kids have been involved in like various artworks and projects and things. So for me, that's also been really nice to sort of
yeah,
see that.
yeah, yeah. Well, there has been an opportunity, hasn't it, for some people to actually kind of explore things that they're interested in the yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's been a really creative sort of period in terms of I've been doing a lot of work in the garden. I've made this like pond with a shrine. Um, yeah, kind of planting trees,
mm,
making a vegetable garden,
yeah,
also doing stuff with the kids, and it's been lovely to like in the middle of the day, like go swimming in the river. We've had lots of hot weather, so it's I've been a lot of enjoyment there as well,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
kind of nice to kind of live in a way which is less about going to work and more about being.
yeah,
So I've kind of enjoyed the opportunity to sort of be more as well,
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
kind of sit and
yeah,
eat with the family, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just thought what are you filming on? Is it an iPad or something? Or
It's it's a laptop.
oh, is it? All right. I'm just wondering if you could like just give us a tour outside. But,
Yeah, I could do. Yeah, I think it's charged up.
yeah,
Um, yeah. it's not. I think the rain stopped, so that's the important thing.
Yeah.
I'm just leaving the caravan.
Yeah.
Hang on, just make sure I've got my internet connection's a bit dodgy. So that's a view from the caravan.
Yeah. Looking up the valley. Yeah.
Up the valley. Yeah. And then I'm just going to walk around the caravan.
Yeah.
So there's a caravan. There's the bucket shower.
Bucket shower. So you fill the bucket with water and then turn a lever thing, and it's got a shower head.
An outdoor shower.
Outdoor shower, yeah.
I'll just so that's see the new polytunnel
Yeah.
there, and there's also this interesting building. There's a glass roof.
Yeah. It's like a kind of outdoor eating area thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to show you the house.
Yeah.
So that's there's see the barn. The house.
Yeah.
I just put that front door in
Oh yeah.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
See that?
Oh yeah. I can't hear you.
That's the sundial.
Okay. Right. Yeah, yeah.
And I'll just walk down to one. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's new. Yeah.
so
Can't hear you.
that's
Are you gonna have fish in that?
we've got lots of tadpoles at the minute,
Right.
which is nice, and a better view of the place.
Yeah. So how much of your own food do you grow then a year at the moment?
So yeah, so I'll just show you. I've got some potatoes growing.
Can't hear you.
We've got chickens, so which are laying.
Yeah.
I'll show you the chicken.
Yeah.
And you, there we go. Chickens.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No, what was that?
That was a cockerel.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm just going into the polytunnel.
Yeah.
So I've been working on this lately. So those are the tomato plants.
Tomatoes. Yeah.
And cucumbers as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it looks great. I like the. Did you just cut those bits of wood from trees
Yeah,
and stuff?
so
You got 19 acres, so
yeah, so this is kind of I've all made myself. So chop some lots and lots of birch trees here.
yeah, yeah,
So I've kind of thinned them out a little bit, and yeah, made this structure
yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
quite solid.
Yeah, it's funny, like just watching this from here in Manchester. I can feel myself relaxing just looking at it. Just though it's all a lot simpler, you know, like just watching things grow and
Yeah, no, it's I feel very lucky really.
yeah,
It's very
yeah,
very peaceful up there.
yeah, 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 yeah,
See the view there.
yeah, great, yeah. I'm glad I
The
thought
whole
of that.
world out there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm glad I thought of getting you to show us the place and stuff. Yeah, So, so that's been interesting, Hasavajra. You know, that hearing about your life, and so shall we? Have you got any final message for people?
Well, no, just thanks for asking me. I think it's like really cheered me up actually. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
And yeah, just good luck to everybody, and
yeah,
hopefully see some of you at some point.
yeah, yeah.